Heavenly Father, Lord, I am but a humble servant, walking in line with my purpose for existing. Forgive me of those sins I might have committed knowingly and unknowingly. And as I start this day, grant me the promises and blessings to fulfill my essence. All these I ask for humbly by your grace. Amen. Like a lovely, it's a lovely morning. It's a lovely morning. Sometimes I lose count of, whether it's in the evening or in the morning. It's just, I'm in a different time zone, man. I'm in a different time zone. But guess what? This is Cradle Radio. In the morning hour, I love this part of mornings. And I'll say I give glory to God for everything that He has done for me. And most especially what He has done for my listeners as well. Without you guys, the encouragement wouldn't have been there. But I would say I want to say a big thank you to everyone. The other day when when I looked at my algorithm and I saw listeners from Russia, I was like, what? For real? It's just, it's one of those things, right? It's like, wow, Russia, wow, imagine that. And all listeners from all parts of the world too, right? I saw a couple coming from India, I saw a couple coming from Nigeria, I saw a couple coming from where else? Europe, and a whole lot, a cluster from Europe, and in Canada, in the U.S. as well. I want to say a big thank you from Cradle Radio. I want to say a big thank you to you for always allowing us to, do what we do on your behalf, and we appreciate that. All right. My name is Akinloye. This is Cradle Radio. You know what we do every morning, especially on Cradle Radio, and what we do is we bring you news highlights, right? And news highlights, we call in a name for it, and we call it Feel Good Radio with Akinloye, especially in the morning. And this caters for our audience who want to listen to what's happening in the African continent in terms of the news headlines coming from that side of the world. So that this particular segment on Cradle Radio takes care of that, especially in the morning. A lot happens in the morning, so you have a lot to jostle. So what you would readily not want to have is have back in the day you'd have newspapers in front of you having to read it, while your chauffeur drives you to work or otherwise. But this time around, just listen on, all right? Just hold on to your phones and you're watching me, and I'll be doing justice to having you to read the news headlines for you. Good news headlines, right? And one of the reasons being that I realized over time in my close to 30 years in broadcasting, and I realized that a whole lot of news been propagated about Africa. I'm not saying some of it is not true. I'm just saying a whole lot of it is just for ratings from the other side. People just need ratings so bad. They just tell you, oh, Africa is this, Africa is that. Oh, you know what? In Africa, people jump like they're in jungles and and you ask yourself, is it the same Africa? This is matured radio, so pardon my profanity. Sometimes I swear a lot, but I try not to bring that into the profession because the background is strictly broadcasting. So I'd adhere to that part of not wanting to swear, but sometimes I hold myself back and I say, "What the," you know. But I want to showcase Africa in my own, from my own point of view, my perception, my beautiful rendition of Africa. So sometimes we read you something called PSAs, all right? PSAs are public service announcements. And some of the news materials do happens to fall on the PSAs because you just got to say those ones. So if you see like a war happening in some parts of Africa, and you go like, "Oh my God, I thought it's meant to be feel good radio." Those are realities in some part of Africa, and we got to bring it to light so the whole world can at least know those information, and hopefully we can get resolutions from that. Okay, and a whole lot more. So music, news headlines, and we roll that all into one. And before any other thing, I always in the morning always give glory to God for the breath of life. That's right, breath of life. And one of the things that readily comes in my mind is if you can sleep and dream, that means there is a connection from somewhere. And sometimes those dreams too can even come into fruition. And that's why you would just keep asking the question over and over and over again that there seems to be some aspect or some essence or something in our existence that sees things before we do. And I don't take that for granted in any ways, right? All the religious books, the religious tenets and all that, they talk about it. And as an African, I don't know about others, but I, as an African, believe in God. So when I wake up, the first thing that comes in my mind is, good Lord. All right. Hence the intro that comes with the prayer. We call that one a simple prayer. So when I wake up, that's the first thing that comes in my mind. And I just go like, okay, I just gonna be appreciative. Even if I still gotta do this, I gotta do that. I still want to be appreciative. And I'll always do that every morning. Obviously, a whole lot of people might not follow that cue, but I've followed that cue from my moms and my pops as well. And to always acknowledge the creator. So in acknowledging the creator this morning, I'm about playing you one song before I get into the four things. I'll play you this one, and this is a good song. All right, this is a song that I came across while watching a movie, and obviously it stuck to me like glue because the whole album was so good. And on their album, on the soundtrack of that movie, I came across a track called "Shoemaker," by 121 Seller and Remy Semidele and a whole lot of other people on it as well. And this was a good song and still a good song. So what I normally do in the morning hour, I would just want to exalt and praise my creator and be thankful. Hence, the music that comes first, then afterwards we'll come back to weather and the news article for the day. Don't forget, you can join our social media handles. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you'll be watching me live right now. If you're on YouTube, just subscribe to a YouTube channel that's Cradle Radio. And also Instagram, we got TikTok, we have X, we have a LinkedIn, we have a whole lot of social media platforms that you could join in to be abreast of, all those things that would bring out from the stables of Cradle Radio, vis-a-vis Cradle Media Incorporated. And I'll tell you one thing that happened to me during the week. All right. It's a Friday morning and I don't want to take your time too much. All right. I'll play you 121 Seller alongside Remy Semidele. They call this one Shoemaker. This is a great song. You got to listen to it.
Aboki Shoemaker, they call you for here. I'm against stop that Shoemaker guy.
Shoemaker, where you they come and fix my shoe. Shoemaker, where you they I need you now. I call you because I know say now you feel fix out, nah. Shoemaker, where you they I need you now. Shoemaker, where you they come and fix my shoe. Shoemaker, where you there? I need you. I call you because I know say now you feel fix up. Nah, nah. I know where you there, I know where to find you. Oh, 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 the point be saying a person where go fix am, me I go call you. Cause now him sabi the thing well, oh, well. I no go carry matter of shoe, go give a carpenter, nana. Cause he no sabi the work at all. Oh.
I beg okay. Let me bring them now.
Carpenter, where you dey? Come fix my chair. Carpenter, where you dey? I need you now. Call you because I know say now you fit fix am. Nah, nah. I know where you dey, I know where to find you, yes. Oh, the boy be saying a person where go fix am, me I go call you, oh. Cause now him sabi the thing well, yo, well. I know go carry matter of chair, go give a shoemaker, no. Cause he knows sabi the one I tell you. Heart fixer, where you dey? Come fix my heart. Heart fixer, where you dey? I need you now.
Call you because I know say now you fit fix am.
Nah. Heart fixer, where you dey? I need you, yes. Heart fixer, where you dey? Heart fixer, where you dey? Come and fix my heart. Heart fixer, where you dey?
Heart fixer, where you there? I need you.
Call you because I know say now you fit fix am. Know where you dey, I know where to find you. I know where you dey, I know where to find you. Know where you dey, I know where to find you. Know where you dey, I know where to find you. Know where you dey, I know where to find you. Oh, the boy be shy, the person where go fix am. Cause now him sabi the thing well, yo. Well. I know go carry matter of heart, go give a human no. Cause he knows I made the work right on low. Oh, the poor big say a person where go fix on me, I go call you. Cause I him sabi the thing well, yo. I know go carry matter of heart, go give a human no.
Cause he knows I be the one at all.
Shoemaker. In some contexts, they will say cobbler, a shoemaker. If you've ever lived in West Africa, you would understand what a shoemaker is.
Right now I need you.
But this is an expression
Right now I need you.
by calling on the creator who can fix things. And that's a way, I love the way they call that shoemaker. If you listen to the song over and over, you would have a clue to what this brilliant minds are saying. Oh, I love this song. I definitely love it. Oh, this is Creator Radio's Feel Good Radio with Akinloye in the morning hour. And I keep swallowing stuff. I don't even know why. All right, excuse me a bit. Okay, now we can, all right, we start off the show this way. And it's always the weather leads us into where we're going to start the articles from every time that we have that. And one of the things that I would always say to myself is, what could you do? Especially when news and events just calls on you. And I love that aspect of it. I love that part, especially when in the morning I just have to keep my fingers crossed and look at things happening around. All right, where are we this time around? Let me see where we are. Okay, we piggybacking from Lagos first off. All right, so with Lagos this morning, the weather is 28 degrees Celsius, right? Precipitation of a 0%, and humidity, it's gonna be hot, 91%. And guess what? Wind is at 8 kilometers per hour. It's gonna be hot, extreme heat, excessive heat. That's a better word to use. Excessive heat. So just hydrate, drink a lot of water, and if you're stuck in traffic and you feeling that heat, I'll say you dress up light. That's a good way to go about it. Since the news item that's going to follow up with this comes with a frame coming from Abuja, I decided to go one step further by bringing people in Abuja the weather and what the weather's going to look like today. So the best part about it is like you get two for the price of one this morning. Okay, all right. We're gonna flip to Abuja and we'll see what the weather is gonna look like. And in Abuja as well, it's gonna be it's still hot, right? It's still hot. It's 24 degrees Celsius over there. Precipitation of 0%, and humidity of 79%. It's not as humid as that of Lagos, and wind running at 5 kilometers per hour. All right, that's still a little bit better, just an inch better, but it's still hot. But who knows? You might not be too hot for you. You might just enjoy the vitamin D or excessive vitamin D that comes from that, and you'll be telling yourself, you know what? It is okay, and it always is okay. That for me is a signal that life is good and life keeps running. All right, my first news item for today is coming out of Nigeria, and we'll run on this one, and we'll see how it goes. It says, I'm just gonna bring my frame down a little bit, just a little bit, so that we can both all together read the item involved in here. All right, just this one, this one is okay. Just a little bit of this. All right. Nigeria launches standards and guidelines for organ and tissue transplant. When I saw that, I went like, we've not even touched. I mean, on the regular radio broadcast on Cradle Radio, we touch a lot about Nigeria. At least I remember vividly when the Dangote refineries started pushing up refined gasoline and all that. We talked about that, but most importantly, on the live stream, we've not really touched base in terms of Nigeria. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, it's about time. Let's get it up. Let's get it up and get it there. And this news is exciting, and it's commendable. So I'll just run through this real quick. Nigeria launches standards and guidelines for organ and tissue transplants. Nigeria has launched comprehensive standards and guidelines for organ and tissue transplants. The country's health minister said the new rules set out on Thursday aim to regulate a sector that has been plagued by ethical concerns and exploitation. He said the establishment of the framework underscores the federal government's commitments to saving lives through ethical organ transplant procedures. The minister added that for many organ transplantation was not just a treatment, but a second chance to life. The guidelines were developed through extensive collaboration with healthcare professionals, legal experts, professional bodies, media organizations, and other key stakeholders. Nigeria's organ transplant system has been hampered by donor shortages, cultural issues, and weak laws that fuel ethical concerns and increase the risk of trafficking. The framework, which explicitly prohibits organ sales, seeks to establish transparency and adherence to international best practices. It encompasses kidney, liver, bone marrow, cornea, and embryo donations, storage, and surrogacy. Well, the good part about it is that the Ministry of Health in Nigeria is, taking it, grabbing it by the horns, and they're ready to flow with what's happening in terms of the legal framework that allows for organ donation and tissue transplants and what have we. Good part about that is at least it's gonna give people a second chance to life. That's true. Check second chance to life. And if there happens to be black markets for a transplanter as well, that could be regulated in terms of curtailing activities that are not normal in any given society. And I'd applaud the Ministry of Health in Nigeria for that. All right, let's push it up for them in a better way. In a better way. This is Cradle Radio, and it's called Feel Good Radio with Akinloye in the morning hour. This part is it's just good. I love that aspect. What do I do? What do I do? Now, one of the things that I said to myself at a point in time was, when I was younger, I'm not old, but when I was, really younger and a bit naive, I always said to myself, I always had a cluster of friends, right? A cluster of friends. I always saw the good part in everybody. I still see that, though. But I always went like, okay, yeah, my friends come fresh and all that. But as I grew older, I have a tight, what I put it now. I have a tight set of friends. It's not a lot like I used to, but closely knitted. That's the word. Closely knitted friends. And this morning, I'll give a shout out to Eminem, my Eminem buddies, right? Those are good guys, man. We watch each other's back and all that. Eminem, whoop, whoop. Yeah, about time, right? So, like I say, show me your friends and I'll know who you are. And one of the things that we all fail to realize is that friendship is just not about good times. It's about how you can stick up for one another. That's right, friendship. And why did I choose friendship as a topic of discussion this morning? It just came in my mind. I was just like, you know what? This is what we'll do. We'll just talk about friendship. We'll talk about this and that. And that's what I'll credit the Gen Zs for. The millennials, the Gen Zs, all those other names you give to everybody. I'll credit them with that one. And I'll say, this generation of young or younger individuals, they actually hold each other firm. My generation, I just got to put an eye to it, right? My generation kind of sucks in that aspect, right? And this is one of the things you got to learn from. Life is a learning curve on its own, and this is one of the things you got to learn. I'm appreciative of the friendships that I have, not the ones I made when I was young. When I was young, I made stupid decisions about friends, right? Oh my God, you don't even want me to go in there. I can talk from now to tomorrow about that. But at this stage in my life, I believe I have closely knitted friends that will stand the test of time for me. All right. And that is something that we all need in abundance in our lives, because no man is an island. You can. I take a typical example for you. I've been having problems with my Nigerian account, right? Oh yeah, I still have an account in there. Oh my God. Well, it's not hidden, because it's not like you gotta pay taxes over that. But I know I pay taxes where I am, but so now this bank has been messing up in terms of correspondence and so many things. And I send emails. I don't even get replies for days, for weeks, for months. Then I call my buddy. I call Shigaduski. That's my name for him. I said, Shigaduski, man, I think my bank effing up. And he goes like, which bank is that? And I told him the bank. I don't want to mention names now, but so it goes like, I'm gonna call this guy for you. And on the 5 minutes, I spoke with the guy as well. The guy happened to be a manager in one of the big banks, and he says, send an email and CC me on it. So I want to say thank you to Shegun. I want to say thank you to Binga as well, for coming up for me with that one. And I never got replies that fast before from this bank. I'm telling you, you was like El Nino. You rushed at me. And in my mind, I'm going like, what? So you could do that? Man, show me your friends and I'll know who you are. I tell you, man. This is Cradle Radio. My name is Akinloye, and we call this Feel Good Radio. I'm all hopping into another news item for the day. And in this one, I'll touch base all the way from Mali. I'll switch from, it's still a part of West Africa, so I'm still within the range of being in the western side of Africa. So we've not gone too far from where we started. So this one actually says, let me see what this one goes like. All right, it goes this way. It's from Mali, and check this out. Mali suspends artisanal gold mining permits for foreign companies after a series of accidents. I'll now say it out again for people who are just joining in, right? This is Cradle Radio's Feel Good Radio with Akinloye. And we're on a news item or news headlines that states Mali suspends artisanal gold mining permits for foreign companies after a series of accidents. Well, what you would readily ask is there gold in Mali? Because when you say Mali, the one thing that comes to my mind is Bamako. You go to other places and you go like this and that. But gold in Mali? Oh, whoa. I don't want to speculate. But the truth about it is there is gold in Mali. And Mali ain't playing no more. Ain't playing with so-called or what they call themselves now, foreign companies. And one of the questions I would readily want to know is, how come are these foreign companies, are these indigenous people from Mali or elsewhere? I want to know. I really want to know. And when you talk about gold, is it the same gold that we're talking about? Oh, definitely. We touched base on this one at a time. I think it was last week or thereabout, and we talked about it. And when we went farther into letting people know that in some parts of Africa, the government in charge have decided not to give some certain people the license to mine no more. They've decided to go otherwise. They've decided to do so many things. And don't get me wrong, I applaud that aspect of it. But in the real sense of it, I just want to know, in the first instance, how did these people get the licenses to mine all this stuff? It's just crazy. But the news says it all. Mali said on Wednesday it was suspending licenses for foreign artisanal gold mining companies after a series of fatal accidents in the West African country, one of Africa's top 3 gold producers. Should I repeat that? One of Africa's top 3 gold producers. General Assimi Goïta, president of Mali's transitional government, ordered the suspension of artisanal mining permits granted to foreigners, according to a statement issued following a Council of Ministers meeting, which was read out on the national television ORTM. The move comes in response to accidents in mining sites that have claimed the lives of dozens of people, most recently in January in the Kolikoro region in the south of the country, and in February in the Kayes region in the southwest. Artisanal gold mining is estimated to produce around 30 tons of gold a year and represents 6% of Mali's annual gold production. Wow. Well, the move is in response to Give me 1 second here. All right, the move is in. Just let's have this one. The move comes in response to accidents at mining sites that have claimed the lives of dozens of people. Okay, and the Council of Ministers statesman said measures will be taken to facilitate a recovery of equipment used in gold panning and its addition to the national patrimony. This is a major change as previously mining companies could recover their equipment after paying a fine to the country's authorities. The measures are designed to further strengthen the state authorities and protect our fellow citizens. They say these measures give them. I mean, I'm not part of it, so these measures give them the power to seize materials, mining equipment, majorly, which will be confiscated and placed in domain of national heritage. General Daoud Ali Mohammedan, the Minister of Security and Civil Protection, said on ORTM. In recent years, there have been concerns about the profits from unregulated mining in northern Mali could benefit extremists active in that part of the country. Gold is by far Mali's most important export, comprising more than 80% of total exports in 2021, according to the International Trade Administration, which is an agency of the U.S. Department of Commerce. More than 2 million people, or more than 10% of Mali's population, depend on the mining sector for income, according to the U.S. Mali is one of the top 3 gold producing countries in Africa. Several major gold producing companies operate in this West African country, including Barrick Gold, B2 Gold, Resolute Mining, and Allied Gold. Tension have been rising between some mining companies and the military authorities who are demanding that the companies pay money, beg your pardon, and comply with a new mining code. At least 4 employees of the Canadian company Barrick were still in prison in Bamako at the end of last year. Military authorities then seized 3 tons of gold from Barrick's mining site and deposited it in a Bamako bank. That's a long and stretchy one, but eventually we got there. We got to the bottom of it. Oh, this is Creator Radio, people, and we call this Feel Good Radio with Akinloye in the morning. Gold, 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 gold. It's so funny, especially when you read news headlines that says third world Africa or third world countries in Africa or an impoverished country in Africa, and you ask yourself, what do you mean impoverished? If you go there to mine gold, there are things that you should do as let's just take, for instance, as environmentalists, for instance. There are certain things, there's certain regulations that you need to abide with. I know, okay, we'll talk about the Canadian gold mining company. I think the one called Barrick, all right? In Canada, there are regulations for mining gold. You go up onto Timmins, you will find gold sites there, and it's well regulated, and everything is in play, even for the miners and all that. They have comfortable spaces, the beautiful places to live in and all that. But when I look at the likes of the one in Bamako, it's like arid spaceland, an arid spaceland where it's just like there are no buildings for the miners to sleep in. I'm not seeing it. Maybe I don't have the right pictures or the right images for this, but I'm not seeing none of that. I'm not seeing like an aerodrome where people can land their helicopters and all that, bringing in supplies, this and that. In a well-regulated environment, no company can come in and just do as they want. So if you're not doing what you need to do, if you're taking advantage of a country, well, the people in the place of authority are going to tell you to go, and you gotta go. and you gotta go. That's the truth. Africa ain't stupid no more. And you just don't go all out there thinking, yeah, they're not gonna do anything. Oh, they will do something right now. All right. So if you've been a part of this show before, thank you so very much. If you've never been a part of this show before, this is what we do in the morning hour. And we will run through news items, news articles, news headlines, and we do it in our own way inside the Cradle Studios on Cradle Radio. And this is what we do. And if you're enjoying our clips and all we've been bringing out, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe to our Facebook channel, and kindly subscribe to all the social media handles as regards Cradle Radio. All right. So if you go on TikTok, you're gonna see Cradle Radio. If you go on X, you're gonna see Cradle Radio. If you go on so many other things or so many other platforms, you're gonna see Cradle Radio. Kindly subscribe to all channels in there, and we'll be talking. All right. Well, you'll be abreast of information coming from the stable at any given time, and we'll take it one step at a time from there. I'll bring you this one. It's called Pot of Gold. Young John is one dude that I like. I really like his songs. I'll enjoy this, and I'll be right back.
Living quite alright, but there's plenty on my mind. Will I really ever find a pot of gold? Been a long time coming, producer to later one call. Will I really ever find this pot of gold? Take it easy, my darling. She love her skin to skin, and I'm into whatever. But I got to hustle for paper. Love me, my jaja. Only one life, oh. My giant that kingdom come. Love me now, don't love me later, my darling. Come on, body job. 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 Inga, you know that I'm into you. If I saw me, this could be do. Oh, shit, baby, me your my love go by me. He can't be like tsunami. Confidence. Oh my, they glad your confidence. Call up before residence. Show them my phone in internet. If I need to so I walk, money got to the involved. So I got to hustle for paper. Oh, love me, my jaja. Only one life, oh. My giant that kingdom come. Love me now, don't love me later, my darling. Come on, body job. 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 Come on, body job.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
The home of all things Africa.
Atapata dite sumo Aterofo dite sumo Orúkọ yóò ó máa jẹ́ ó máa jẹ́ orúkọ yóò kò sọ ibi kan ṣáá láti jáde wá.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
Ibi kan ṣáá lámà tẹ̀dọ̀ sí. Ṣùgbọ́n owó ọ̀wẹ́ ò tó má fi gàngàn fáwọn lẹ́mí mímọ́ wí. Ó nílẹ̀ tá ti kọ̀ kì í ṣẹgbẹ́ ilé tá ti kọ́ rárá. Màkàn ṣàlòyé kan. Ìyẹn ni pé ó lè kàn
This is Cradle Radio.
ó máa padà wá kàn ara ẹ̀ dẹ̀.
This is a sound coming from Adeleke Ashiru.
Àmọ́ ìbẹ̀rù Olúwa mi ilẹ̀ ṣọ̀wọ́n o.
And this is proverbial in its all essence. I'm telling you, Atapata Dide, that's the title of this track. Guess what, people? You gotta watch out for this man. You gotta watch out for him. In the genre of music is playing, it's not something that's that everybody might probably, on a global point, believe that does exist. But this genre song has been on for over 40 years. And guess what? It's not even different because there is a Fuji gospel in terms of that genre. And it's not something that comes easy. And that's where you can hear the talking drums in there. Talking drums? Google it. You're going to know what that is. So what he's doing is not something that's easy. It's something that is really complex. But when it comes out fine, it really does come out fine. And one of his days, I'm bringing Adeleke Ashiru on a special interview session that I want to do with artists now. I just want to sample what's going on in their minds, especially when doing that. We'll find a time we're going to do that. He's just like, I'm piled up. So one of his days, I'm bringing him in the studio. So we're going to have a tete-a-tete. We'll talk for maybe 30 minutes, 25 or even 45 minutes. I just want to sample what his process is like, especially when you have to do all of those accompaniments. You have so many things around you that you got to play. And it can't just be him doing all that. He has a band as well. Now, that's something good. Watch out for that. That's still coming on the stables of Cradle Radio. And we'll do justice to that. I just love listening to him. It's something that draws my attention. I love that aspect about it. This is Cradle Radio. And Feel Good Radio is not going anywhere. Don't go nowhere as well. The crazy part about it is I always just want to, at one time or the other, I'm having like 3 different cameras in here and having to move from one point to the other and moving from this one and controlling everything. And like I do say, I'm running shotgun in a different time zone. So even my staffers are not even available because this is an old hours, this is a wee hours of the morning in my part of the world. So I gotta have 10. I only have 10 fingers. Sometimes you just want to hope you could have 15 so you could control everything. Hence, the different array of shots as well. And I love doing this. That's one thing for sure. And we ain't stopping anytime soon. We're jumping around and we'll be here doing this particular news headline that caught my fancy earlier on. And I said to myself, I got to bring this up. I got to bring it up. Hopefully somebody could listen to this and relate to it. Where is this one? It's okay. It's on the side of the. Okay, now check this one out. Now this one, I saw it, and in my mind I'm going like exotic garden, an oasis of biodiversity. Okay, where could that be? Where? Morocco. And I went, you know what? I got to bring it to my people. They're going to find out that. So if you deciding to want to learn about plants, horticulture, you better just listen. And if you're an horticulturist, this is one thing that might catch your fancy this morning. And like we say, it's feel good radio. So it's not just about, war. It's not about bad things happening around Africa. It's mostly about good things happening around Africa. And when I saw this headline, I said, I got to bring it in. With 500 species, a Moroccan exotic garden and oasis of biodiversity. I love that aspect of it. A lush oasis of biodiversity, Morocco's exotic garden in the town of Buknado brings together tropical and subtropical species from Asia, South America, and Africa, and created in 1951. And this is why it drew my fancy. Created in 1951 by horticultural engineer Marcel Francois, the garden spans 4.5 hectares and is divided into different spaces representing various ecosystems. The exotic garden features more than 500 plant species from several countries and regions, including China, South Asia, the Savannah, Congo, Japan, Brazil, and Polynesia. Ibrahim Handani, a director of the gardens, said the plants adapt very well to its climatic and geological conditions. Yeah, because that's what came to my mind. Like, if you bring in plants and different species into another zone or another region of the world, will it survive, or you need to, go through so many strenuous watering system or climatic temperature based system that allows it to just fully blossom? But maintaining these gardens is a daily task. Each plant has specific needs of water, light, and temperature. Some species require special care to survive in a climate that's not their own, and that's where I was going. I was curious about that, because recently I saw a farmer having to create a soil that's conducive for African produce as well. Somewhere I saw that, I think yesterday or thereabout. You know, Technical teams monitor plant growth, adjust watering, and protect fragile plants from diseases. Temperatures in the gardens range from 18 degrees Celsius in wintertime to 25 degrees Celsius in summer, with a humidity rate between 60 and 70%. The soil is a mix of clay and sand. Ah, now I bet you the question on your mind is there winter in Africa? There is winter in Africa. Okay? There is winter in Africa. So if you don't know that, you better know now. Well, it's so common these days, especially if you're living out of Africa, and people would ask, people of African descent, question like, "Oh, how do you feel experiencing the snow?" In my mind, I'm going to be like, "What you talking about? Come on, man, get a book or something. Get educated." So there is winter in Africa. People in Africa experience winter too, like 3 months in a year in some places in Africa. I mean, not all of Africa, but in some parts of Africa, yes, definitely. All right, let's get back to the news then. It says plants generally go through a biological rest period from the late autumn until the end of winter. Now, due to the scarcity of water, these plants are depressed. Oh, that's right. Yeah, plants do get depressed as well. Yeah, and their growth is sometimes unbalanced, said Mazak Charki, who is a plant production technician at the gardens. Water scarcity and global warming are forcing those taking care of them to adapt their methods. They use efficient irrigation methods, such as drip and sprinkler system. They also closely monitor the plants and practice biological pest control, avoiding chemical treatments by using insects or animals instead, said Hadeng. New, more drought resistant plant varieties are also being introduced to limit water consumption. Each year, about 100,000 visitors explore the exotic gardens of Boknadel, according to Handen. There are not just an attraction for visitors, including foreigners, but schools and researchers visit to study botanical diversity and methods of preserving rare plants. The green spaces are considered a contributor to the development of the ecotourism in Morocco, offering an alternative to traditional tours. The garden are divided into three main sections: the cultural gardens, the nature gardens, and the educational gardens. The cultural ones feature Andalusian, Japanese, and Chinese gardens. The nature gardens include 10 theme spaces. These feature plants from Polynesia, Congo, Mexico, Peru, Brazil, South Asia, the shrubby savanna, and a host of others. Exotic Gardens first opened to the public in 1961. Now, guess what? This is not a garden that's just up and going and just a few years ago. From 1961. This is history right there, people. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing this, because aside the fact that it kind of spurs me up in the morning, especially when I read all of this. I don't want to keep it to myself. I want everybody to know about it. So if you go to Morocco, if you go vacationing in Morocco, you can tell yourself, listen, I got to visit the exotic gardens as well. Those are places to look at. And it's been in existence since 1951. That's right. Is it 1951? I think I read somewhere here that says 1951. Okay, so it's been in operation since then. Yes, created in 1951 by the horticultural engineer Marcel Francois. It's a blessing, man, especially when you have innovators and visionaries that can see through planting something that makes people come around to see. You know, this is a vision that was created in 1951. What kind of vision are you creating now? That's the big question. Whatever you do, it's going to echo in the sands of time. If you do it right, and if you do it in the magnitude that we're talking about, it doesn't really have to be big. It should be symbolic. That's the bottom line. I got so many other news items coming your way this morning, but I don't even think I'm going to have enough time for that. But let's jump into some music here. And when we come back, we'll roll on some other news item. Now, this is a song that I love to. I kind of love all my compilations, right? I kind of like it. I really love it. Now, this guy, I hope so many people would know him because he's a musician. He's a singer, and secondly, he's an actor as well. But I hope people get to know him now because I see him on the big screen and all that. But he's a good vocalist. I'm not gonna shy away from that. It's called Reminisce. All right, I tagged this one alongside Buju, or is it Buju they call him, or Buju? Buju, yeah. Reminisce, Buju, and D Smoke. This is songs that would definitely lift you up anytime. This is called Hustle. The track is called Hustle. Enjoy this. We'll be right back.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. The home of all.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
See, I carry my hustle for my shoulder. On my jacket, I'm a one-man soldier. Cause if money not them, mama correct. So even if you don't do it for me, do it for my brothers.
When I was young, I heard people preach about Jesus. Word was give to Caesar what is Caesar's. I see the goal, I got my hustle on my shoulders. Jejeni Munlo, man, Aniruko Akuba. Steady on my grind, I'm focused for many reasons. Been here a couple years and I'm prepping for more seasons. My girl's my motivation to my mommy, you should see this. Word to Almighty Allah because He sees this. He sees it all, what's above and what's beneath me. Lone sheep amongst the wolves and yet He sheets me. Automatically, Bobo they can defeat me. Cornerstone levels, first they hate me, then they need. Big up to all the girls I dated. Whether you gave me peace or had me aggravated. Took a minute before I made it. That's the reason I get up on my ass and hustle like I never fucking made it.
See, I carry my hustle for my shoulder. My jacket, I'm a one-man soldier. Cause if money not the mama cora. So even if you don't do it for me, do it for my brothers.
8 in the morning and I'm yawning, the pillowcase is warm. I should have been up, but my alarm didn't go off. My nightly dreams lately been tormenting me. I'm wrestling with stress and I'm feeling upside down like Diana Ross. I slide the covers to the side and throw on my sweats in a vest, and I pray a blessing to calculate the cost. What do we give only to live in poverty? Probably be stuck in this jungle. Fuck it, I go hop in the car. I know I'm headed out this bitch, so guess my family better be rich though. When I leave, they need them keys. I may never score, but I at least made the assist though. I called my nephew just to reconcile. My final sins is the final end, need a rescue now. He told me money ain't the answer. I'm dirty dancing with fate when my faith is the only thing that brings the blessings down.
See, I carry my hustle for my shoulder. My jacket, I'm a one-man soldier. Cause if money not the mama cora. So even if you don't do it for me, do it for my brothers. My jacket, I'm a one-man soldier.
He says in there, if money no day, my mama corner, means I'm gonna be nagging. I'm gonna be nagging at you if I ain't getting money. All right, I think I still got time. I still got one more item that I can touch base with. Just 1 second in here. I'm gonna run through this one like I'm a 100 meters race. Like I'm doing 100 meters with this one. All right, let's see where this one is. I'm running closing time with this one. This is a feel-good story, and it's from across the globe, across Africa. It's not in Africa, but it's across. You know, you gotta across the other side of the pond. So this one is something symbolic, and this is something that you probably would not hear anywhere else, but this is Feel Good Radio. Now, guess what? Now, this is what I got for you. Check this one out. A 108-year-old woman crowned world's oldest barber. Now, we're digging deep into the Guinness Book of World Records this morning. And let me see how I can run through this in 1 minute. Guinness World Records has officially recognized an old Japanese woman as the world's oldest professional barber. Shitsui Koishi, who turns 109 this year, says she plans to retire when she turns 110, saying she can no longer take as many customers as before because of knee pains. After earning her license in Tokyo in 1936, she opened a shop with her husband, but was evacuated to her hometown of Nakagawa after he had destroyed in an airfield. Jiro was conscripted, and when he didn't return from the war, she set up a small shop at her home while raising their 2 children. As neighbors and regular customers celebrated her achievement, Koishi attributed her longevity to good genes and her daily exercise regimen, which she started when she was 70. In 2021, she was a torchbearer in the Tokyo Olympics torch relay. My God, I really wanted to talk about that, but time wouldn't permit me. Maybe I'm going to run this on Monday. I'll just probably run it again, and we'll have a little talk about it. Well, it's been my pleasure doing this. I really, really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you being here for us and you dropping all the comments, taking your time to send us emails. And don't forget, if you have any questions and if you have any contributory article elements that you want to send in, send it to info@cradleradio.com. And all the songs that we use, it's all licensed. We're licensed to use it, all right? So if anybody listening, you might probably be wondering, oh, how come he's using that? Yeah, we're licensed to use it. So don't let's get that out of the way. It's always gonna be a happy time having to come here every day, and it's always gonna be a happy time having to render all of this for you at your service, as I'll put it. My name is Akinloye, and like I always say, please be safe and don't do things that would not be in accordance in line with the place or the location that you're living in. Abide by the law, abide by the rules, abide by the civility that exists between humans. And with that, I say, have yourself a wonderful day, have a wonderful weekend, and most importantly, be good to yourself.